Morning, Facebook. Morning, YouTube. Right, I've got to going at the same time today because I wanted to ask a question. So I did two half-hour live coaching sessions last week, and I wanted to try and get to the most people at the right time as I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to recap what I talked about last week a little bit, and then I'm going to ask the question, and then I'm going to talk about the three principles to being a great singing performer. Okay, that's my dodgy fingers not coming up with a three. And hopefully next time I'll have the camera sorted a little bit better. So first of all, the question is, what is the best time for you guys to be watching the live? Obviously, once I've done the live, it's recorded and you guys can watch, and I hope you enjoy. We've had loads of views and some good questions, so that's really great. So what I would like to do ideally is pick a time in the evening, because I think that's when most people are around who want this content. So probably looking at 6:30, 7 o'clock, but I know that clashes with other things. So let me know in the comments, either on the Facebook Live or the YouTube, and we'll go from there. Also, I've had a couple of questions based on the sessions that I did last week, and I want to address those, but I don't want to address those in this session because I want to do it in a session where everybody's around. So let's get straight on. As I said, this is now going to be a more bite-size kind of session, so I can do it every day. Got lots going on, but I want to try and put out some content free for everybody so that you guys can go off and be better singers and hopefully learn something while we're in this isolation situation. So yes, earlier I said about the three principles of being a great performer, and this is something that I learned a little while ago, and it was a mishmash of stuff that I'd learned. Background in a still technique, background in performing. I've been performing now for nearly 25 years, and also working with other really great coaches. You start to see patterns about people who really become the top of their craft. And these are the three principles that I think that we need to address. I kind of touched on it on the first session, but I want to go into a little bit more depth today. So the first principle, and what we've kind of covered so far, is technique. Rock solid technique. Kind of obvious, but it's worth reinstating. If you've got rock solid technique and you understand your own voice really well, then it's going to make your second principle, which is really solid psychology, work much better. It's going to give you more confidence. It's going to mean that when you go on stage and sing something, you know what's going to come out your mouth is exactly what you think is going to come out your mouth. And it's also going to create for you a way of working that will mean that you will always produce your best. Now, this is something that sports personalities have known for years. Sports psychology, there's a massive area for sports psychologists and sports therapists. And in fact, in football, in all those major sports, there are loads of psychologists and people who manage the players. If you look at tennis, if you look at golf, all the top players employ some form of sports psychology, and we can apply those same principles to singing and performing. If you think about it, when you walk out on that stage, if you've ever done it and you've walked out on that stage, how mentally prepared are you? What have you done to get your brain in the right place? So it's worth thinking about. Rock solid psychology. And the third principle is preparation. Okay, absolute profound preparation. And it's not just about doing preparation and lots and lots and lots of it. It's about doing it in the right and the smart way. And we'll be going into that in a little bit more depth in the later session. Okay, so let's go back over those. So we've got rock solid technique, great psychology, and good preparation. Okay, sounds obvious, but a lot of people miss some of those steps. And often it's the psychological one that gets missed. And this is something that I've been working with for years. The psychological techniques involved in performing are massive because we all have anxiety. We all have insecurity. We all have moments where we have self-doubt. And learning techniques to help cope with that, I think, is probably one of the biggest things that will change the way in which you perform, in which you approach your performance, and even if the way you approach rehearsal. It's really, really important. So what I'm going to do over the next coming days and weeks while we're stuck in isolation is do some bite-sized sessions about 10-15 minutes long and probably around 6:30. So as I said earlier, I'd really appreciate your feedback. A good time that is suitable for you guys. And so if you could give me a message either through my Facebook page on Vocal Media or on the website where the YouTube videos are, which is vocalcoaching.co.uk, then it would be great to hear from you and be able to know what time suits you better. And we can make this really work. So over the next week, we're going to be looking in more depth at the technique, which we've already started. We looked at the breathing. Tomorrow's session, we're going to be answering the questions. I've had a couple of questions from one of the guys out there asking about asthma and about increasing range. So I'm going to be dealing with that tomorrow. And so we're going to be going back to technique, but starting to look at how we can increase range and how we can use certain exercises to help us strengthen the muscularity around our voice. Okay, that's it for now, guys. I know it's a short and sweet one today, but let me know what time's good, and I will come back to you tomorrow at around, I think it's going to probably be around 6:30, because I think that's going to be the time everybody's going to be free. All right, lovely to see you all. Lovely to speak to you all. Have a great day. Stay safe, stay well, stay at home, listen to the advice, and let's save our NHS. Cheers.